to the digital marketing webinar of today, and the topic is Facebook analytics, which has got huge excitement going on. There's lots of drama happening, and it should not be as dramatic as what they're making out to be and how much people are freaking out about it. So I'm going to share my screen in just a moment, but what I'd like to do first of all is invite you to jump into the chat and share what you do and how you help people, and try and do it in under 15 words, so it's a little bit of a superpower statement. And also share your Facebook, your Instagram, your website if you have one, and get some information going so that people can connect with you, which is a wonderful thing to do. It's a great way to grow your accounts organically. You also might want to befriend each other that you meet in here. That's also a lovely thing to do, and you can send messages and see if you can help people. It's always nice to talk about how you can help people rather than how you can sell to them. So lovely to have you here, and I'm going to share my screen now. And also remember, ask questions in the chat, and if I can get to them straight away, I will. Otherwise, we can have a little look at them in the Hello Media Facebook group and share the information in there. So I'm going to share my screen now so we can get stuck in, because it is a very, very big topic. Oh, is that you, Petra, saying you're currently overseas? Wow, whereabouts are you? That's a big deal these days.
Yeah, that's easier. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. My mum, who is 95 years old, had a fall and was in hospital, so she's very poorly, and I got an exemption to travel, and I'm here now with her. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, but so happy that you can be with her.
Yeah, definitely. 8 hours difference in time behind, but I'm trying to still, I'm still around for business, obviously, and online, and just an email away. So
is it like 6 o'clock in the morning there?
It's something like that. Yeah, quarter to 7.
Oh, well, we're very glad to hear it.
I've been up since 4 o'clock, slightly jet lagged still. So.
And whereabouts are you, Petra?
My mum moved to Bavaria. I wasn't born there, but she moved there, and she's right across from the Alps at about 900 meters. Very picturesque. But I'm really missing Australia and the beaches and the life there. It's all in lockdown here. It's all with these horrible big white masks and. Wow. But anyway, it is what it is.
Did you not need to quarantine?
I was so lucky. I had a test within 72 hours of departure, and then just when I got the written negative and all that from my GP, I got another message from Lufthansa saying, oh, you can't come on our plane unless you've got 48 hours within arrival. Now the flight and everything is over 30 hours and it arrived our time, sort of Australian time, after 6 in the evening, so no pathology is open. So I got one to do it on an emergency, and I got the results within 10 minutes of checking in. So I then didn't have to quarantine, nothing. No, really surprised about that. Happy, but surprised about it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Goodness me, it's so weird, isn't it, to hear anybody that's traveled anywhere?
It's pretty stressful, I tell you.
I'll bet it is. I'm heading to New Zealand in 3 weeks, and we have to have a COVID test this Sunday. I know, Andrea. Yay!
Yeah, it's so easy. It doesn't hurt or anything.
My brother's had 2, and he said he cried both times.
Oh dear, I don't know. He had a heavy-handed nurse.
He said it goes right up into your eye and makes you cry.
It feels like it, but it doesn't actually do it. Yeah.
Ooh. He's a pretty big, tough guy, so I thought it was hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Steve, Charles is there. Close your ears, Charles. You know what males are like, though.
Yeah.
Say no more. Sorry, Charles, you can hear now.
Oh, that's so funny. I've actually just been having a little look at my analytics on Facebook, and my rate of male to female ratio has decreased even more. When I first started Hello Media a number of years ago, I was kind of around the 48% men, 52% women, and now I'm down to 28% men. So thanks, Charles and Steve, for being here. We really appreciate that male vibe going on. It's very nice. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. We have our lovely newest team member joining us today, Eunice. And she started with us last Monday, so it has been a whirlwind week. And hey, Eunice, welcome.
Hello.
It's been a very, very big week for her, but this is her first digital marketing webinar, which is very exciting to have her here. So I'm going to share my screen now and we're going to get stuck straight in. So, I'll just click on present.
What's the idea of having these beautiful, gorgeous looking young girls? I thought I was the only gorgeous young looking girl.
I definitely hire on looks, Terry.
You haven't hired me yet?
Actually, truth be known, I hire on ability to laugh and have a great sense of humor. That's really what it's more about with us. Right. Are we going to be able to have fun? Are we going to be able to laugh? Yes, we are. So we're winning. All right, so let's get stuck into Facebook analytics and looking at how you can export your data file before it's gone forever. So the purpose of digital marketing is to have such a clear understanding of your audience that your product offering sells itself. Now, it's going to be hard to have an understanding of who your audience is unless you know how to look at your insights and your analytics. So for those that haven't met me before, I'm Kylie and I build brands. I help creators, entrepreneurs, brands, and businesses get visible online so they attract their customers to them instead of chasing them. I simplify your digital marketing, and the way that I do that is through one-on-one coaching, group coaching, masterclasses, and workshops. And I'm fabulous, supported by a fabulous team. We also have another Zoom offering that happens each week. This one's fortnightly, the other one's weekly, and that's on Friday mornings. And I will give you a link to that a little bit later on because we have a very exciting topic this week. So it's not should we work on our digital marketing, but rather how well are we working on our digital marketing? And just in case you're wondering, what is digital marketing? It's basically the way that you are seen online. So it's everything from your social media to your email marketing to what's coming up in searches and your website. It's just basically every way that people will find you online. So I am a speaker, mentor, coach, writer, designer, educator, presenter, content creator, and branding specialist. And all of that comes just underneath the one banner of business coach, specializing in digital marketing. So this one down on the bottom right here is Bite-Sized Conversation, and that's our Friday morning webinar offering, which is with Jenny Walk from Elephant in the Room Consulting and me. And every week it's a different topic. We basically go from one week will be to do with business overall. The next week will be to do with digital marketing. And so this week is all about women in business. And I have a very naughty puppy in my office, and she's getting naughtier by the day at the moment. So if you see that going on behind me, she was just trying to choose some leads then. So you might lose me altogether, but hopefully not, if she chooses the wrong lead. Okay, so I also have a women's meetup group called Positive Passionate Women in Business, and we meet online once a month. That's soon going to be changing. There's going to be an extra offering once a month with which is very exciting. I'm about to be announcing that soon, so stay tuned for that, and you can join the Facebook group Positive Passionate Businesswomen as well. So let's have a little look at what and why of Facebook Analytics. Well, firstly, Facebook Analytics is a free analytics tool. You can access it from your browser or from the Facebook Analytics mobile app. So that could be the first thing that you write in your notebook today is, quick, download the Facebook Analytics app. So it helps you understand how people interact with your website, with your Facebook page, with your app, or other supported events. So that is the website there that you can go to and have a little look. That's not obviously for the app, but you can go there and see all kinds of things about your business. So people are a little confused often about Facebook Insights versus analytics. So I'm going to talk a little bit about insights to begin with. So Facebook Insights track likes, page views, and more. Facebook Analytics tells you who your audience is and how they're interacting with your page. There's a little bit more that you can read about that on the that Hootsuite blog. So what can you learn with Facebook Analytics? Well, you can learn how people use your app, your website, your Facebook page, or other supported event sources across multiple channels, including how they move between those event sources. So what that means is that if I've done an event in Eventbrite, and then I've got that linked through to my Facebook page, then they might click on that to maybe buy a ticket or something, and then that might lead them to my website to find out more about the event. There might even be a link in there to add it to their Google Calendar. So all of that is about moving between event sources. So it's a really great way to be tracking and seeing who's doing what, how are they doing it at what point of the process. It's also about the people who interact with your website, app, or supported event sources. This includes aggregated demographic information like age and gender, which is really important. Like I just said at the beginning, my male watchers have gone down, yet my female watchers have really increased. Obviously, that will have something to do with the fact that I run a women's meetup group, but also if I was really trying to target men, then that would clearly give me a big fat alarm bells that I needed to look at how it is that I'm putting out content, what I'm talking about, my topics, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a really good opportunity to really study what's happening in the back end of your business. And we also can look at how different groups of people interact with your event sources. So there's lots of amazing stuff to be found out. But first of all, I want to talk to you about insights, because insights is the most easy information to digest, and it's the most easy one to be able to find. So I've done some screenshots here. So this here is the Hello Media Facebook page. Yours will look very, very similar. And obviously you can see in yours, all these extra things that just regular visitors to your site cannot see. So when you go to your page and you look down the left-hand side, and you're going to find the one that says Insights. Then we go to the next little bit. And what I want to show you here is that these ones here, ads, shops, branded content, and events, they all have this little arrow next to them because they're going to lead you somewhere else. But all of the other things on this page will keep you in the Insights section, just looking at different sections in there. So one of the best spots to look straight away is at the overview. So the overview, you can choose if you want to look at it in the last 7 days, for example, or the last 28 days. So you'll just change what's happening up in that section there. You can't go further back than 28 days. So ideally, you would be looking at this at least every month and exporting that data so that you can look at it over a period of time. So when you see a lot of green, you're winning. If you see some red, you know that it needs attention. That doesn't mean you're losing. It just means that you need to put a little bit of attention into that. So you can see that page likes have increased, page views have increased, actions taken on the page have increased. This is my most important one for me personally, is post reach. So the posts that we're putting out, what kind of people is it reaching? Now, the reason that it's reaching thousands and not under 1,000, because we have, I don't know, under 1,000 followers on the Hello Media Facebook page. But what the story is around that is that you want those posts to go far wider reaching than just the followers on your page. So if you can always be working on that, so you've got to be upping your post engagement, which will then up your post reach. So that's a really, really important one to do it. An easy way to do it is through video, because video is going to get more traction on Facebook than just straight word posts or even graphics. And all you need to really do is animate some of your posts, and that will then into a video. So there's lots and lots of different ways for you to work on that. And but yeah, really important to be looking at these analytics and really understand what's happening. Now, I've talked many times before about the fact that my Facebook page is one of our least areas of attention. Where it's really important to me that we spend our time working is within our Facebook groups, because your Facebook groups are a really wonderful place to be building your community. Whereas your Facebook page, it's a bit of a game, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, you putting out posts, it's going to be a hard slog getting people to see your posts, getting people, growing that side of things, because Facebook want you spending money in ads. I'm not saying you shouldn't do ads. There she's going for the cords again. But you really want to think long and hard about what it is you're putting out. we generally don't do Facebook ads, just every now and then from time to time. But very, very rarely, what we really work on is great organic content. And you can see just from the post reach that it gets really good engagement on it. So yeah, working that organic content is really, really beneficial for you. So what about Facebook analytics? So you can look at your overview, your dashboard, your activity, people, settings, etc. So we want to go into settings. So the first thing to tell you is that Facebook analytics will no longer be available after the 30th of June 2021. So the reason that we've done this webinar right now is because it will give you a couple of months to get on top of that and to export all that data out of there, particularly if you put it in your calendar to give you a reminder on, say, for example, on the 23rd or the 24th of June, so that you can export that data out of there. Until the 30th of June, you can still access your reports, export charts and tables, and explore your insights. And you can export your data as CSV files before they're gone forever. So all you need to do is click in the top right-hand corner of each chart or table to export. And we're going to show you a little bit more about that in a minute. And we've written a blog post about it. So this is the link here. You'll see it in the chat just very, very soon. And you can go and have a little look at that later on. We'll also put it into the Hello Media Facebook group, so you can go and read all about what to do and how to do, etc. Plus, this webinar will be on YouTube probably in a few hours' time. And so we'll share the link there as well with that link to the blog post, so that if you think there's anybody else that needs to know about this, then you can share them and then they can rewatch this presentation on YouTube. Okay, so the first thing that you can do if you, once Facebook Analytics is gone, is that you can use Facebook Business Suite. So that allows you to manage your Facebook and Instagram business accounts together, and it can show you detailed insights about your audience, content, and trends. Unfortunately, it's not available to all users because it's the way of Facebook that they share things to different countries, different people, you know, all at different times. For example, Instagram, who is owned by Facebook, I only recently were able to do music on my stories, yet the clients that we manage, they had music available even a year or more ago. So it's very frustrating how they roll things out. There's no rhyme or reason to it on the whole. So some of you may not be able to get Business Suite at the moment, but no doubt you will very soon, particularly after analytics is gone. So this is a good one to have a little look at and see what's happening. I just do want to reiterate though, I've done many webinars on this in the past about Creator Studio. So I still think if you're trying to schedule posts for Instagram and for Facebook on your desktop, do it using Creator Studio, not Business Suite. Business Suite is just a little bit slower, but in terms of analytics and insights, Business Suite is fantastic. So if you start getting used to that now, so then it's not such a devastation when Facebook Analytics disappears. Okay, so let's have a little look at how you can access Facebook Business Suite. So you can jump on here, look on the overview, and you straight away can see what the Facebook page reach is, what the Instagram reach is, and you can look here and see that the reach with the same post on Facebook was 8.5 thousand. The same post on Instagram was a reach of 347, for example, so way lower. So it's a great way to look at, when you're doing the same post, what's working for your audience on one platform and it's not working on the other, for example. Although the one that I did about my birthday, that was very similar. The reach on the Facebook one was 531. The reach on the Instagram was 322. So it's really interesting to have a little look at all of that. You can obviously click here and see the content report. Excuse me. There's also this one here where it shows you about the gender split. So it shows you that on Hello Media, 75.1% women, 24.9% men. And on Instagram, 76.8% women and 23.2% men. So that's also a really interesting thing for you to have a look at. So obviously the teal color is the women, the purple is the men. So funny that the men is the highest in the 25 to 34 age group on Facebook, yet the men are the highest on Instagram in the 35 to 44 age group. So for me personally, I just find it really fascinating looking at all of that about the audience, about my reach, about all kinds of things that are going on. So I really, really, really encourage you to go and have a little look at that and see what's happening with yours. So this one here is, then we can really dive into it. So for example, I've clicked through here on the audience, and I can look at my current audience, and I can also look at my potential audience. So we look at the Facebook page likes, the Instagram, we look at the gender split, but then we can really dive into where are those people. So majority of mine are in Byron Bay and Sydney. Also Bangalore, hello, that's where I live. Then we can go down Brisbane, Auckland, Bangladesh. I'm always surprised at the number of Bangladesh. It's quite a fascinating one for me. I've never worked with anyone in Bangladesh before, but there you go. So if you find that you've got a ginormous number from India, you might be one of those that has bought likes, because a lot of the bought likes come from India. So it's kind of, there's interesting things going on in the background there. So definitely take a little look at where they're coming from. That's just within towns and cities. I could have kept scrolling down and shown you top countries and all that kind of stuff. So it's no surprise, is it, that the top countries for me are Australia. And I also have in top countries, there would be the States, but that's because of the time that I spend in the States with social media marketing world and making connections and things there. So an easy way to look at it too is by going to your phone and to the Business Suite app. This is not the Analytics app. This is the Business Suite app. So when you click on this app here, which looks like that, then you can open up and look at your page. Down the very bottom, second from the left, it's like this little wee graph, and you can click on that, which makes you see this. It shows you post reach, engagements, new page likes, things that are going well, etc., etc. So lots of good things for you to look at on there. And so it all depends. Are you someone that's on your desktop a lot, or are you someone that's on your phone a lot? So you can be totally up to you which you prefer to look at it, but there's all the same information there and you can enjoy it. I've also got some clients that say they do all their posting just from the Business Suite app. They don't even go into anything on their computer. And so, as I said, though, before, I prefer the Creator Studio one, which is also owned by Facebook. So it is a little confusing that they have so many things there for you, and yet the one thing they're taking away is analytics. I had assumed that they would be taking away Creator Studio, but not yet, apparently. But who knows what's happening soon, because as you would know, things change fast. So what about other tools that can help you understand your Facebook activity? There's also Ads Manager, which lets you view, make changes, and see results for all of your Facebook campaigns, ad sets, and also ads. So if you're not doing ads, you don't need to spend time in this area. If you are, then you really need to spend time here and really understand it. One thing I notice quite a lot is people are just happy to boost a post, because Facebook says, oh, if you boost this post, you will get it to reach this many people. Well, that is not ideal, because you haven't really understood the whole purpose and what's going on behind spending money on Facebook. So be careful about the boosting posts. Think really hard about it, and if you want to be doing some sponsored posts or some ads, etc., then you need to jump into here, really start understanding it and make sense of it all. So, oi, puppy. Next one is Events Manager. It can help you set up and manage Facebook business tools such as the Facebook Pixel, conversions API, report actions taken on your website, in your app, and in your physical shop. So definitely worth having a look at as well. And Facebook events are great. So definitely have a think about what you might want to be doing with that. So let's have a little look at how you can access Facebook Analytics from your computer. So firstly, and before you begin, you need to make sure that you're an admin. That might sound like, of course I'm an admin, but actually that's not always the case. I've just had a really tricky situation with a client recently who turns out was actually not the admin of her business manager. So she assumed she was, it's her own business. They started the business, but they had somebody else help set up the Facebook page initially. So they had continued to be the owner. That owner didn't fully know everything that they were doing either. And so what that meant was they removed themselves from everything, but they were still the owner, and they don't know how to get themselves off it. They kind of got a bit over it. And then it all became quite tricky and not just tricky, very, very problematic. So definitely go and check out, are you an admin or the owner of your own page? And so make sure you're going to look at that. What you can do is you can go to this website here or this URL here and go and check out what's actually going on for you. That's a really important one, particularly if you've inherited it or if you have has had someone else setting it up for you at any point. So definitely go and have a look at that. So when you want to access it from your computer, this is what you would be looking at. So straight away, you would see these big alerts, which is that Facebook Analytics is going away soon. You've no doubt seen it in many places that you've been over Facebook in the last few weeks, because it really is a bit of a hoo-ha, but realistically, it's definitely not the worst thing in the world, because we still have those other 3 ways I showed you with Business Suite, Events Manager, and Ads Manager. You've got a lot of options there. So you can obviously look at all the things that we talked about before. So you can go to the left-hand side and you'll see people, you'll see activity. So lots of good things to be studying about what is going on behind the scenes. But how are you going to export your data out of Facebook Analytics? Well, you're going to go into each one of those different parts of the user, and then you're going to export the data into a CSV file. So if you see here, this little arrow out, that is you going to be exporting your data. I'll just go back as well, because see here, it says view full report, view full report. You can click on those and then you can export that data out of that. So it'll take a little while. You need to go into each section and then export that out one by one. So all you need to do, click the arrow in the top right corner of each chart or table, and it automatically will download it to your computer. And so check your downloads file, folder, or your desktop, or wherever it is that your settings are, where downloads go to. So why is it important to export your data? Well, it reports are vital to understanding the who, the how, the what, the why, and the when that your audience is interacting with your page and how they're interacting in general. They help you to understand the data better so you can make more informed decisions, to find out which customers are converting best from Facebook, and to look at conversions based on traffic source. So what would be the point of just doing post after post after post and not really understanding who's seeing it? You might be only looking at, oh, it got 3 likes and it got 1 comment. So that's good. Somebody's seen my post. But if you're going to the effort of creating graphics, to actually post things, to tag people in them, to use some hashtags, to share into stories and do all kinds of things, you want to know what's actually happening and is your audience the right audience for you. So by checking out your analytics and looking at your data, you can really understand what's going on. So even if a Facebook ad campaign isn't converting well, it may still be having a positive effect on your bottom line. Facebook Analytics can help you see that. So you might have done an ad that was all about getting sales. Maybe the sales weren't happening, but maybe other really great things was happening behind the scenes, such as brand awareness, new followers, etc. You might really want to be working on getting new email addresses. So while they weren't actually buying, they might have still been signing up to your email database, for example, which is gold. So to see which funnels are converting best, and then to get more people to push through from those funnels, it's a really fantastic thing. So definitely make sure you export and you check it out. So you can also make informed decision on which audience to target, where to place your ads, which channel to drive traffic to, and what type of content to post. So in summary, Facebook Analytics allows you to understand the data better based on specific needs so you can make more informed decisions. Facebook Analytics is going away after June 30th, so you've still got a couple of months to take a look at that and sort it out. Facebook Analytics can be accessed through your computer and through the mobile app, and you can export your data into a CSV file before it's gone forever. And you can still understand your Facebook activities through Facebook Business Suite, Ads Manager, and Event Manager. So you have a lot of options. So this is one of my favorite quotes from David Meerman Scott, and I think it's so relevant for so many reasons. So it says you can buy attention, so advertising, you can beg for attention from the media, PR, you can bug people one at a time to get attention, sales, or you can earn attention by creating something interesting and valuable and then publishing it online for free. You just have to know how to do that well. So make sure you jump into our Hello Media Facebook group. We have the follow ladder in there, which is the pinned post. So you can leave your social handles in the comments and you can do it a little bit like this. So I've done a little example that says, I help businesses get visible online. I'm Kylie and I build brands. The Facebook page is tagged, the Facebook group is tagged, and then the Instagram account, obviously that's a URL getting there. So make sure that if you're not in the Facebook group that you request to join, make sure that you complete the questions, because otherwise it's an automatic decline, and then find this pin post, the ladder, and make sure that you do that And then you go through all the different comments and you go and follow all of those pages too. And then they will, of course, follow you back. So definitely a good way to get some growing organically growth. So we have this little gift for you if you want it. Just type yes, please in the chat and we will get it to you. It's called 6 Steps to Get More Testimonials. Now, testimonials are brilliant on so many levels. Talks it all about that in our magic PDF. So one thing that you can also do with your testimonials is that you can turn them into posts for your social media. You can put it out there, you can put it in newsletters, you can put it everywhere. And what's important is that people definitely, you know, we always talk about that know, like, and trust factor. When they are seeing you and testimonials that other people have talked about you, then it gives them a lot more trust about what's going on with you, rather than just taking your word for it, going, I'm really good at that, come and work with me. So that's a really great product that I've invented or that I sell, so buy from me. So make sure that you are asking for testimonials and sharing testimonials. So we talk about all of that inside this 6 Steps to Get More Testimonials. So yay, we've got a whole bunch of yes pleases in the chat there. So we will send that out to you in a newsletter this evening so that you can access that PDF. So what we want to do going forward is get stuck into understanding your analytics today. So will you is the question. Let me know in the chat if you're going to be able to do that. And yay, Petra, good on you. And also, I want to know today, what was the aha moment that made you go, right, didn't know that, going to go and look at that now, or did know that, definitely needed a reminder. So was there something today that you just learned that you really needed to know, and maybe you didn't even know you needed to know it, apart from the fact that analytics is going away on the 30th of June, which is only, see, this is the stress, is that everybody's freaking out and having a massive panic about it going away, but actually there's other ways to see it. So it should not be the panic that it is. Oh, yay, Petra, business suite. Was not aware of this. Awesome. Yeah, and a potential audience. Fantastic. One bit I didn't mention also is that you can look at other people's pages and their analytics. So you've got the option to see, I can't remember how many, maybe up to 5, I think. So you put the page in there and then it shows you the data about them, who their followers are, how many followers they have, etc. So definitely worth doing. And then Facebook will also suggest brands that you might want to secretly look at as well. Oh, good, Joanna. I'm glad that's new for you. Exporting analytics data. Good, Sue. And business suite. Yay, Charles. You get stuck into that. So now more than ever, we want to see the human side of a brand. Show the world what you stand for. Be more purpose-driven, more human, more imperfect, more real. So start creating some posts telling them what's going on in your business. Who's behind the brand or the business? What's going on, why you do what you do. So the next topic for not next week, but the week after is hashtags. Why you need to be using them on Facebook and Instagram. So a lot of people did not know that Facebook actually even has got hashtags working now. So people would be using hashtags on Facebook for the last few years, and it just looked messy. It looked lazy because we all knew that they had just auto posted over from Instagram, and there was no point to the hashtags on Facebook. Now there is, because a matter of months ago, Facebook changed all that. And now it's fully searchable using hashtags on Facebook. So I'm going to be talking all about that in a couple of weeks and all about why you should be doing it. Casey says, I swear we have connected brains. Just posted yesterday. That is fantastic. Oh, and the iOS 14 update. That's a really big one too, isn't it? So Casey, why don't you put your group in there? And if you'd like to invite people in to join it, because you get some great little tidbits in there, guys. And also that's a really big deal about the new iOS 14 update for sure. Okay, so all you need to do to register for that webinar, hold up your phone with the camera app open and scan, and that will register you for that webinar. The next webinar is this Friday at 9:15 New South Wales time. And it's our Bite-Sized Conversations webinar and podcast. The topic is women supporting women in business. So this was our topic recently in a workshop that I ran. It's also is the topic recently in in our meetup, we did all about collaborations, etc., and how you can collaborate with businesses, particularly that are in positive, passionate women in business. So definitely will be a good one for you to come along to. It's only 30 minutes. If you miss it, you can always watch it on YouTube, or you can listen to it as a podcast as well. So the next thing is, everything you post on social media impacts your brand. How do you want to be known? I really, really love that one by Lisa Horn. If you think about what it is that you're posting before you post, so who are you trying to reach? What are you trying to achieve? What's your call to action? Is there a purpose to it? Then you'll get so much more engagement, which will make looking at your insights and your analytics way more fun, because it will be green arrows going up. It won't be red arrows going down. And as I said before, green arrows is a win. Red arrows going down is not a lose, but it just tells you it's an opportunity to improve. And we always want to be improving what we're doing. So the final thing that I want to mention is about Action Takers group coaching. So it's small group coaching, no more than 8 people in a group. It goes for 6 months or longer, but it's a minimum of 6 months. And we go through different topics. So we've just finished our whole section on Instagram stories, overhauling your bio, and all those kinds of things. And today we just moved into the next lot of working on our websites over the next couple of months. So we started with keywords today, and we will continue to move through, and we do little mini audits of all the websites. So it's a great way to be improving what's going on, because as I said, all of your digital marketing efforts need to be getting people to your website. Then, of course, what happens on your website is really important. There's no point getting them there, and then if your website does not do what it's supposed to do. So that's a really important bit. So now what I'd like to do is click on stop share, open it up for questions if anyone has it. Oh, and let's turn on our cameras and have a little picky, because I really love that bit. So let's, if you can turn them on, have a little wave, and I'll just go 3, 2, 1. Nice. So does anybody have any questions? And it doesn't have to be Facebook analytics related. It could be Facebook in general, or any marketing. Julie, unmute yourself.
Hi, lovelies. How are you all? Look, I want to get clear on how many posts to do for offers on my business page, because there seems to be different information flying around about that. I used to, or even any posts whatsoever, because I used to do a lot, and I've pulled right back now, but I just want to know how often do you recommend, like, one puts an offer out there, and how often do you reckon one posts on a daily basis? I used to do 4 posts a day, because that's what they used to like, but I'm not now.
So did I, but not in the last 5 years. So many years ago, we used to do a lot of posts, because there was a lot less people on Facebook, for starters. There were a lot less businesses on Facebook. And so we could, and also Facebook ads weren't such a thing. I'm talking probably even much longer than 5 years ago. So it was really important to keep those posts going many times a day. But also on weekends, there'd be so many people using it, because it was still, relatively newish and exciting. But what's happened over time is it's, we're just flooded. We're flooded with so much coming at us, particularly politically. There's so much going on Facebook. There's so many more community groups on Facebook. You join your local ones, and there's a lot of stuff going on there. There's just more people on it than ever before. There's more business pages on it than ever before. There's just stuff coming at you. There's more ads going on. So you just don't really want to be turning people off. You want to be putting out posts that are going to really engage with them. They're going to really see value in what you're sharing. So my suggestion always is following the 80-20 rule. So that means 80% of the time you're edutaining. So that's a mixture of educating and entertaining. 20% of the time is when you're selling. So not the other way around. And a lot of people do 80% of selling, or even 100% of selling, and they don't think about all the other things that they need to be sharing. So I was working with a client just recently, just like a couple of hours ago, and all they've been doing is, and they're a not-for-profit organization, and they do amazing work locally for a particular sector. And so what they've been doing for a really long time is just telling people about their courses coming up, their support groups that you can join, and how to get to their website. So what about all the other things? What about if you're not a people person and you don't feel like you want to go in person, and they only do in person? So what if you don't want to turn up and be brave and sit in a circle and share? What if you just want to be learning behind the scenes and their website doesn't have much of that kind of information? So, and there's heaps of people like that, introverts, etc., etc. So what we can do, and what we went through, is making up a digital marketing strategy. So what are we going to do in our email marketing? What are we going to do in our blogging so that we can really make that website have a whole lot more information and a whole lot more value? And then how can that also align with what we're going to be sharing on social media? So for example, let's look at Self-Care Saturday, for example. Now that you may not have the money for a massage a week or even a massage a month, but what about getting together with a friend and you give each other a little shoulder massage each? What about, you know, a day of the week where you're saying to someone, or where you just remind them, I'm talking specifically for this business, but that you would send a text to someone or pick up the phone and call someone that you haven't spoken to in ages, because you never know what's going on for people behind the scenes. And we all get so caught up in our lives and we forget to touch base, particularly because of Facebook. I'm a shocker for it as well. I feel like I know what's going on in people's lives because I'm seeing them on social media, but we all know that's not really what's going on in their lives. It's only the bits that they want to share. So just sending a text, sending a message or something is super important to connect. Another thing is that they really are keen on doing is, and they use quotes and things a lot in their presentations in person, but they don't translate that over or transfer that over to also on their social media. So doing a quote a week that really makes women feel empowered or supported or something like that. Because some people don't like quotes, but a lot do. And a quote can change your day. If you read a quote in the morning that really, really speaks to you, it can completely change the way that you think about your life in general. It can be quite powerful. So while we were talking with them about all the different things that they can be sharing, not one of those things was about trying to get people in the door. So then we looked at maybe once a week, they might talk about what their offering is. Then we talked about days of the year. Anybody that's been worked with me before knows that I'm obsessed with days of the year, like World Blue Cupcake Day or World Toilet Day. There's just so many kooky days out there. So we went and had a look at that for them. And we just typed in even just women. And then we typed in just self-care. And honestly, there was at least 2 a month, every single month. World Meditation Day, you know, International Women's Day, like just so many things that they could use. And then it gave them ideas, like things just kept popping up and they're like, hadn't even thought of that, but that's brilliant. Hadn't even thought of that, that's brilliant. Then you click on that and you go and find out why it came about, that day of the year, what you can do with it, the hashtag that you can use. And the hashtag's so powerful because that then connects you to all the other people that are also using something to do with that day of the year, which is all relevant audience for you as well. So to get back to your original question of that, I did say the 80-20 rule. So not so many offers and promos, way more of sharing information and advice and just giving value. But I would say absolutely no more than once a day in your feed. But stories is a completely whole nother ball game. So the more stories you can do, the better. So many reasons that stories is winning, but particularly because, as you would know, stories only last 24 hours and stories go away. So even though you might be up to hour number 20, your story's still there, but who's going to be seeing it? Because when you open up Instagram or Facebook and your stories are right there at the top, you're going to have to be watching a lot of to eventually get to yours if you haven't done a new story for 20 hours. But each time you do a new story, it bumps you right back to the front. So if you're regularly posting stories, it can be quite extraordinary how much traction you can get with that. There's so many issues around stories, though, for how to make sure that people watch them, not that they just start swiping through. So that's what we've been working on in our group coaching lately, to make sure that people watch it all the way through to the end and not just go swipe, because the more you go swipe, the more that's telling the algorithm that your stories aren't really worthy. So making sure that people are interacting with them and that it's really fascinating for them to watch. And then every time your story appears at the top, they're like, oh, goody, another story. And then they'll watch it and enjoy absorbing them. Plus, then you can turn them into highlights. So my theory is 1 a day at most. And if you haven't really got something of value to share, don't share. That doesn't mean don't share anything for weeks on end, but it doesn't mean you have to do a post every single day on every single platform. So make sure you've actually got thought and behind it of what you're going to be posting, and then do multiple of stories. So you might want to do like 5 in one go, because it might set your, be part of a series, but then give it another hour or two and then post the next one. Maybe a few more hours and post the next one. So definitely get into stories. Does that help, Julie?
Yeah, I do stories. So the stories, like, is it a separate story for business page, or it's the same? Because I do the story every 24 hours, but you just gave me a really good tip then. And I haven't been for Instagram, so that's cool. I'll get more on that. I guess my biggest thing is, and I've said this before, I used to get so much engagement, and I get sweet FA now on my business page, rarely get any engagement. And on my group page, I just don't get the engagement. And I know my energy's been flat for a while with what's been going on, but I'm still posting. So it's just disheartening, and I just don't know what to do when I used to get.
I'm going to tell you exactly what to do. Go back and look at those old posts that did really well, and look at why did they do well. Sure, obviously your energy was different then and whatever, but whatever ones of those posts did great, repost them. Evergreen content is gold. So many people get caught up in, I need to have new all the time. But actually, no, you don't, because I didn't see your stuff 6 months ago or a year ago, Julie, because I didn't know you. So bring that.
I've done that.
Okay.
I've done that.
And were you then still getting less people watching the second time around? The reason for that is because Facebook will be seeing who's interacting with your stuff, how much value they're placing on it is where they'll be sending it to, because obviously they want you to be spending ads, and we want to be avoiding that as much as possible. So you need to look at, in your caption, were you putting a call to action in there? So you actually were making people do something, telling them something that you actually needed them to do. So drop an emoji in the chat of how you're feeling right now, or drop, comment yes if you want, blah, 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 or if you agree with that, or does that resonate with you? So get people doing something, tag a friend, share this into your stories, whatever it is. Like, I don't know what you want me to do, excuse me, unless you tell me to do it. So I need guidance. And as I said before, we're just flooded with so much stuff. So if I've had a read and gone, oh, that was nice, scroll on down to the next, scroll on, keep scrolling, because unless you're telling me what to do, I'm not going to stop the scroll and actually take that action. So things will have changed. So if they worked well for you in the past, that's possibly because you had more people interacting and engaging, therefore Facebook would show it to more people. They're obviously showing it to less now because they really just want you to be spending money. So if you can tweak those captions, put some call to actions in there, get that attention going on, I promise you, your engagement will increase and increase and increase. Just take a little look at the example of the Hello Media page. We're not necessarily growing it at a rapid rate, but we're getting great engagement. And what we're doing is directing people to come to a free webinar, or to sign up to the newsletter, or whatever it is, maybe a discovery call, maybe to join the Facebook group. But we're sharing stuff all the time, tips, tricks, ways to improve things, etc. And it's very, very, very rare that we tell them that we've got something that they can buy.
Excuse me, Kylie, how do you get invited? I was just sorry to say for Julie, but how do you get invited into the pod?
In the Facebook or the Instagram engagement pod?
Yeah, because that's where that's the only, mine has grown from that.
Yes, because when you have more people commenting already, then Facebook and Instagram will show it to more people. So we're about to start a new pod, actually, Terry. So good thing that you thought of that, which is for the positive, passionate businesswomen, which Julie is part of. So that will be awesome. So the other pods are for people that we've worked with, so clients past or present. And the new pod that will be being started is for positive, passionate businesswomen, because we can't get the pods too big, because then it's too overwhelming for everyone using them. It's like then you just got to be commenting 500 times a day, which we don't want. So any of the people in here that are positive, passionate businesswomen members, let us know if you're interested in coming in and joining that pod. And some of the people in the Hello Media pod may want to move over, for example. So anyway, there's lots of different options around there. Merlin's just sent me a little message to remind me that this Wednesday, we have an 8-hour masterclass on Facebook ads. So it's all about creating your graphic, writing your caption. So really making sure that we're not just spending money willy-nilly, that we've actually got a plan behind and what we're actually doing. And then making the ad live by the end of the day. So it's 8 hours of power of just from the very, very beginning all the way to the end. So we have a link to that, what might be popping up soon. And are there any other questions? We have 5 more minutes. Oh, thanks, Melon, for putting that in the chat.
And I do if nobody else does.
What's that? Sorry, Julie?
I said I have another question if nobody else does.
I don't think they do, so go for gold.
I want to know how to get amazing VAs like you've got, because I just am really struggling. And I'm at that point where I need a VA because I'm tired. I just can't, I'm struggling to keep up. And I think that's a part of stuff that's going on with me. And yeah, I'm just struggling to find a really good VA.
Luckily, you have a call booked with me tomorrow. You've booked a discovery call. So that is perfect. And we can have a chat about it then as well. Because, yeah, I have to say, there's no way I could do what I do without my team. They're all full-time with Hello Media. So they're, you know, we're just a team, which is fantastic. And I've had many different team members over the years, and no one's full-time in this business, but it didn't work the same as it did once we had VAs. It was just a completely different ballgame.
Yeah, it's different. Can you remind me of what time I'm on tomorrow then?
I can't because I'm not sure, but one of my team can send you a message.
Thanks, darling. Thank you.
No worries.
I've got people at my door, so just.
Right. Oh, Julie, Casey said something really good, which is you need to have your systems in place for it to work. So she said, ask me about that, because she's nodding that one, which is really important. Joanna will probably be really nodding that one as well, because I know there's a number of people in there that have had VAs, but unless you really know what it is that you need and how you need it and all of that, then, you know, that's super, super, super important. So good point, Casey. Thanks for that. All right, guys, are there any questions before we go? All right, so I hope you're going away now to have a look at your analytics. Even at the very least, just grab the app on your phone and check it out. Also have a little look on Instagram, not that analytics is going away, but it's just so important to know who are your actual followers, because you can have an idea of who they are, but you really need to know truthfully who they are, where they're from, what they're looking for, etc. So that's my last tip of the day, is definitely check out what you're doing with your Facebook group. When people are joining, are you asking questions? So firstly, you need to be getting their email address. But secondly, you need to find out what it is that they're looking for, what it is that they need more of, because then that will help you to know. It might be that you're offering webinars, or just your posts for social media, or the things that you need to offer in your group can all be determined by the questions people are asking as they join your group. So make sure to that. That's awesome. So good to see you all in here. Thanks very much for joining me. And I'll see you either this Friday morning or in a couple of weeks, and we'll be talking about hashtags for Instagram and Facebook and how it can help you grow. All right, guys, have a beautiful afternoon, and thanks for being here. Bye.
You're a champion. Thanks,
You too,
everyone.
beautiful.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye.